Hi guys, Midwest Outdoorsman here with another review. This time it's for a gun, shotgun. Um, this is the Benelli Super Black Eagle 2. I've tried all different kinds of shotguns over the years, and there's a lot of good designs out there, and it depends on what you want it for. You know, if you want a shotgun that's kind of a general purpose shotgun for everything, or if you want just a turkey shotgun, or just a shotgun for duck hunting, or you can get all that. My approach to it is I kind of like one shotgun, one good quality shotgun that will do all the jobs that I need a shotgun to do for the most part. I don't want to have to spend, especially on a high dollar shotgun like this, I don't want to have to spend, twice the price to get two different guns, or even, with these Benellis, they're so expensive that the different barrel is as much as you could go out and buy the Remington 870 pump if you wanted it, a turkey shotgun or something like that versus your regular waterfowl gun. So I wanted one gun, a good quality one that would do everything that I need a shotgun to do and just be done with it. And so I saved up my money and saved up my money, and this is years ago. And finally, I had enough money, and I bought I looked at all the different brands, and I've used even some of the newer ones. Um, and I bought this Benelli Super Black Eagle 2, and it cost me about 1,500 to 1,600 bucks. That's a lot of money, but it's the best shotgun I've ever used, and it's awesome. It's flawless for the most part. There's always little things that you could change about one thing or another, depending on what you're using it for. But I really like the system. It's really the low maintenance system, um, utterly reliable, and it's just great. And I was just going to go through a couple of things about why I like it and see what you guys think. First of all, the big thing with the Benelli here is this. It's got an inertia-driven system. And what that means for anyone that doesn't know is a lot of times when you have a semi-automatic shotgun, you have a gas-operated semi-automatic shotgun. And what that does is there's a piston inside of here, and when your gun fires the shell, some of that gas is bled off through the piston, or down here by the piston, which moves the piston and cycles the bolt and puts another shell in the chamber. And they do absorb a little bit of recoil and stuff, and a lot of people like them. The big thing that most people have is that they get dirty down here. They get really dirty, and they get unreliable if they're dirty. The newer ones, like the Browning Maxxis and the Versa Max that Remington makes, are supposed to be a lot better, but they still get dirty down here, and you have to clean them religiously for the most part. I've found out, in order for them to function properly. Not so with the Benelli. Not that I would neglect it on purpose, of course, but this Benelli with this inertia-driven system, it uses the inertia of the firing of the shell to force the bolt back, and then load another shell in the chamber. There's a spring that goes all the way down into the stock here that helps with absorbing the recoil and putting another shell in the chamber. And one of the big things with inertia operated recoil shotguns is all that recoil is absorbed into the gun. So traditionally they would kick more than your gas guns. That's why a lot of people like gas guns, because being that most of the time they were heavier because they had more parts, and they absorbed some of that recoil because they bled gas off. People liked them because they were soft shooting. But the downside is they get dirty, and that can make them unreliable, which I've had problems with my Remington 1187s that I used to have, some of the 1100s. Not that they can't be reliable, but first of all, the guns are quite a bit heavier. Second, you have to clean them a lot, and they get dirty, and they can be unreliable, especially in fall weather. So you waterfowl hunters really take that into consideration. But like I said before, especially if you're going to be shooting 3.5-inch turkey loads or goose loads, these guns kick no matter what brand you have. A 12-gauge 3.5-inch round kicks, but the big thing is, these inertia guns, people would say they kick more, which they do, except for Benelli has this, the Comfort Tech system. And what it is it's like a gel, it's like a foam gel rubber kind of melded together, and they have it in the cheek here, and they also have these little wedges that go into the stock, and then they have this really nice recoil pad. And man, does it work. I've used this gun for years and years and years. I've owned this gun since I was probably Trying to think here, probably about 20. I bought this when I was about 20 years old, somewhere around there. So I've had this gun for about 10 years, and at first I thought, oh, this feels kind of chintzy, like maybe it would rot or crack or rip or something like that. And I put this thing through hell. I've used it for upland, going after grouse in the brush, woodcock. I've used it for waterfowl, turkey, everything you could imagine. And I mean, you can see that it looks almost brand new. I mean, it held up great, and it really does a fantastic job of absorbing the recoil. This to me is the softest shooting 3.5 inch. Sorry about that. That's my phone. It's the softest shooting 3.5 inch 12 gauge that I've ever shot. Now there are some out there that people claim are softer that I haven't shot because they're gas guns, like the new um, Remington Versamax and stuff like that. For me, I've had pretty good experience. I used to own a Browning Maxus, which is that would probably be my top choice for if you guys still want a gas gun. It's a little bit lighter than the Benelli, and it's got some really neat features. So if you really want a gas gun, or if you're kind of debating between the two, I would look at for sure the Benelli Super Black Eagle 2. Da Vinci is a newer model. I really don't like it just because it doesn't fit me. The gun itself seems like it's great, but it just doesn't fit me as well as the Super Black Eagle 2 does. But I would check out that Browning Maxus if you want a gas gun, and it's about a quarter-pound lighter than the Benelli. It's a good gun, but it is gas and you do have to clean it. But anyways, so when you shoot this, all the debris, all the gas and everything goes out the barrel. So it keeps the gun super, super, super clean, super low maintenance. I've hunted with this thing in every kind of nasty weather you can imagine. Like I said, I don't neglect it on purpose, obviously, but when you're hunting, especially duck hunting, that will really put the test to a gun. I mean, you can see paint swore off. I've carried this gun so much, even on the air touch here, you can see it's a little bit faded because I've shot this gun. I've put literally thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds through this gun. I've done extensive pattern testing with it. I've got stacks of, not joking, of I buy this poster board from Target. It's the cheapest Target that I can get, and I would shoot every kind of load I could possibly think of through these guns to, with different chokes, different combinations of loads to, get exactly what I want. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But basically, I'm a huge fan of the inertia-driven system. I think it's the best system out there. It's the cleanest system. It's the simplest system. A lot of, it's real easy to field strip. Not a very many moving parts. You don't have a bunch of crap up in here. All you have is your magazine tube. You don't have any pistons or any gas rings or anything like that to get dirty or to mess with. I've dropped this gun in the water, unfortunately, a couple of times when I've been waterfowl hunting. Got completely submerged in freezing weather and shot a limit of ducks and geese with it. It just runs like a champ. You can't stop this gun. I don't think out of all the thousands and thousands of rounds that I've ever shot through this gun, I don't think I've ever had a jam, ever. And that's crazy. I mean, and I've shot every kind of load from the lowest 2 3/4 all the way up to the 3.5s. Now with the inertia-driven system, they say that the bottom out is I think 1 1/8 or 7/8, something like that, because of the way it operates. So you can't shoot like some of the super duper light trap loads. You can shoot them, but it might not cycle the bolt. I think it's 1 1/8, maybe 12 gauge, 2 3/4 ounce, 1 1/8. Target loads is what they say is the minimum. Usually they'll cycle below that, but that's what they say, which is what I use anyway, so it's fine. But usually guys are going to be doing that much trap shooting or something like that. They're going to get an over and under anyway. But yeah, it cycles all the loads fine. It comes with a shim kit too, right here, where you can adjust these spacers inside of here. It'll be thicker, thinner, towards the bottom, towards the top, all that good stuff, and it even has other shims that you can adjust the cast, cant, all that good stuff, so you can get the gun to fit you perfectly. And all you do is pop this recoil pad off. There's a bolt that holds this stuff on. Take a wrench, take the bolt out, and you can pop them shims in there and get it to fit you just fine. The trigger group is real easy. If you want to pop that out, you just pop the pin. The whole thing slides right out. Easy to clean, very simple. These Benellis have a great trigger on them. I love this oversized safety they have right here. Red for fire. Really makes it nice for when you have big gloves on when you're waterfowl hunting. Um, and I like a 26-inch barrel. And actually, if you think about it, with the Benelli, the receiver is pretty long on here. So if you get a 26-inch barrel Benelli, you're actually getting the sight radius of about 28-inch pump, or most other autos, because it's a little bit longer because of what the action is. So I think it's the best of both worlds. I like a 26-inch barrel. Just as a general purpose, because like I said, I use this gun for everything. I use it for waterfowl, for turkey, for upland, for the whole works. And So some other things I like about it is the metal is really good quality metal that they use for the barrel and the action, and it's cryogenically frozen, which means that they take it and they freeze it to a very low temperature, very slowly, and hold it there and bring it back up, which makes the microstructure of the steel spread out evenly instead of being scattered, which means it's a smoother, more polished surface, which means that it's going to last longer, it's going to be more consistent in your patterns, and it's going to be cleaner over time. And I found that it does work, and I like it a lot. One thing with Benelli's that I will knock them for is that they have a smaller bore. 12 gauges, depending on your brand, have different bores. Some of them have backboard barrels, which means that when you're coming back here through the forcing cone, um, that it's actually overboard to more than what your regular 12 gauge barrel would be, and it just gives it more space and a more consistent pattern supposedly, and I think it actually kind of does work. But the Benellis don't have that. That's one thing they don't have because of the way that they have with the inertia driven system. They can't really do that. um, I know the Browning has it, the Maxis, so if that's one of the key things that you want, check that gun out. But the Benellis have a little bit of a tighter bore, and that's another thing with chokes. If you think about chokes, a lot of people say extra full, super extra full, modified, improved cylinder, whatever. All that is a degree of constriction, and it's in thousands. So and it's different between company to company. So you got to look at on the package of whatever choke you're using or whatever set you're getting. If you're just using the set that came with the Benelli, which is fine, or if you're getting aftermarket chokes. Take your gun to the gunsmith and have your barrel measured. Have them mic the barrel so that they can look and see exactly what the inside diameter of your barrel is, and that way, you can have your chokes mic'd as well. So you have X diameter barrel, and you have a 35,000 constriction, a 20,000 constriction, and people say improved cylinder and modified and full. Well, you kind of can correlate that with the degree of constriction that your chokes are, no matter what they're called. The company might call it a modified, but if your gun has a tight bore, it might actually be more like an improved modified or a full. So that's just one thing to take into consideration. Like I said, take it to your gunsmith, mic the barrel, and then look at your chokes as far as the degree of constriction they have to figure out exactly what you would want with your patterns and stuff like that. I think the Benelli ones are pretty good from the factory if that's all you want. A lot of people like to go out and get aftermarket ones. There's good ones out there. Carlson's are pretty good. They're affordable. The Wad Wizard is a really interesting one. I have that, and I found that to work with like size BB, triple B steel, T-shot, and buckshot. I think it's awesome. It has little stoppers inside of the choke to where it grabs the wad and it releases everything at once, so it's more like a pancake. Your pattern, so all the pellets hit the target at exactly the same time instead of being strung out like just throwing a handful of rocks at something. And I think it works, but I think it works better for the bigger shot myself. But anyways, that's a different thing. You can check that out on your own. This is more about just the gun. But so it's got the cryo stuff in the barrel, which I think is good. Inertia-driven system, which I think is fantastic. Has a really good trigger. It's got the Comfort Tech in the stock, which really does work, and I think makes this gun. It's the softest shooting 3.5 inch that I've ever shot. There are some auto loaders out there that, like I said, if they're a lot heavier. The Benelli, this is a 26-inch barrel, 3.5 inch gun. It's about 7.1 pounds, which is really pretty light for a shotgun, especially one that's shooting 3.5 inch mags. But it does it in spades, and really, I mean, a 3.5 inch is going to kick out of any gun, no matter what you do. But this one makes it minimal. I can shoot, developing loads for turkeys and stuff, or going through different kinds of loads. I can shoot this gun off the bench, and it doesn't really hurt me. Where if I would take an Remington 870 out there, I mean, it'll kill you. It's such a big difference. So in short, it's worth it to pay this much money for something you're going to keep for a long time, that does its job, that works really well, very simple. No matter, I mean, you can't make this thing stop working for the most part. It just chugs right along. It's a fantastic shotgun. It's my favorite shotgun, um, and I've had it for years and years, and I don't see the reason to get another one. I've tried other ones and stuff, but this one is just a champ. I never have anything that I need it to do that it won't do, so I don't really need any more. And I have all the chokes and all my patterns already all set, and that's another nice thing, is if you buy a gun like this, you put the investment in, you can buy chokes for it and figure out all the patterns and stuff, and then you're set, for waterfowl, whatever, and that'll make you a better hunter over time. But if you buy a new shotgun that comes out every year and you keep using something new, you're never going to shoot as well as if you find something that's good quality from the start. Pick your gun, buy it, develop the loads, get the chokes, do all that stuff, know exactly what your gun, where the point of aim is, shooting on targets, and what loads it likes, what size shot for what game, all that good stuff, and then the rest of your life and you'll shoot the same every time because it's the same gun. You'll know the same load is going to shoot the same way, and over the years you will get better. I've found I shoot better with this gun than any other shotgun I've ever had because I've kept it for a long time, and I know what it's going to do with certain loads, and it just works, plain and simple. It's got what they call air touch for the gripping surface. It's just like a molded in check ring, and it works pretty good. No complaints there. And one thing I like about this Comfort Tech also is this gel is really nice as far as being, something like a plastic or something will be really cold on your face when you're going to be shooting. It's, minus 10 degrees or whatever, if you're going duck hunt, goose hunting in the late season. And this has got more of a warm feel to it. It might be a little cold at first, but your cheek will warm it up real quick, and it stays that way. And it's also smooth, which I like. Some of the newer guns, a lot of times they'll have like a really sticky, tacky coating on the outside to make them, more grippy, which is great for grip. But then if you put your cheek down on there and you shoot a 3.5-inch goose load, that thing will, it feels like it wants to rip your face off. And this isn't like that. This is nice and smooth, and it's real comfortable to shoot. So that's kind of my quick review of the Benelli Super Black Eagle 2, my favorite shotgun, and kind of why I like it. I can't, if I left stuff out or whatever, go ahead and comment. As always, be respectful. I'm not saying that any other shotguns aren't good or anything. I'm just saying this is, from all my testing that I've done, this is the one that I love and I've used the most, and that's why, because it works really good for me for the kind of stuff that I do, and it's a good all-around gun. I've used it for turkey hunting, for waterfowl, for upland, for game all the way down to small as woodcock, and all the way up to pheasants, and I mean, you can even shoot slugs out of this gun if you want to. Get like the True Ball from Federal. They're not a rifled slug, but they align in the bore more and stuff. So I mean, and it is drilled and tapped for scope mounts up here too, which is nice. So I mean, you can do everything with this gun without having to buy any other barrels whatsoever. And that's kind of why I like the 26-inch barrel, because a lot of people like a 20, 24, or whatever for turkey hunting, and a 28 for duck hunting. But these barrels from these Benellis are really expensive. So I got the 26, so it's a good all-rounder. You got your mid-bead sight, just a steel mid-bead, and then you got a small fiber optic front bead right there. Nothing spectacular, but usually I look at the target. I don't look at the sights anyways. So it's, if you like, you can always add on aftermarket stuff if you're the kind of person that wants different sights. And like I said, it's drilled and tapped for scope mounts. So if you want to put a red dot on it for turkey or deer hunting or whatever, or even a scope, you can do that too. And it's got a good trigger pull and stuff. So yeah, that's the Benelli Super Black Eagle 2. Hope you enjoy this, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and I'll try to answer them. Thanks.